November is almost here, and this means that Ripple Swell 2025 is almost ready to be sold. Now, this is one of the biggest crypto events you can take part in, and no matter what, if you can make it, you should go. If not, it's okay. A lot of clips and news about this event will be released in November, but it will actually happen from November 4th to 5th. This is in New York City. Ripple Swell really stirs things up because it tells us what's going on with tokenization from the point of view of some well-known figures in blockchain, banking, stablecoins, and so on. A lot of things will be talked about at these events. It's clear that a lot of things happened at these events in 2024. That year was especially important because it was when we heard from a lot of well-known people what products would be hitting the market. And they were right. I mean, steady coins have grown a lot this year, and tokenization is still shaking things up. And we're seeing more and more institutions use crypto, which is something we've never seen before. And this year has been really crazy. And I think this event will shine a light on all of that and really show us what to expect in 2026. Now let's think about 2024. There is also a summary of Ripple. Okay, we have some problems with our banking system that were fixed when we looked into this. As for what digital assets need to do, we need to build a safe and global financial environment. Then we need to lower transaction costs and barriers to entry for financial services and open up human-centered use cases that also help people get access to money. We also need to meet the demand for crypto-related services and think about lessons learned, volatility, management, variety, demand, and being ready for regulation. Next, deal with regulatory pressures, openness, education, integrating technology, being patient and proactive, and then look ahead to 2025 to see how to move forward. This will take patience and teamwork. Lead is still hopeful, though, that use cases can be legitimized and scaled in a way that builds trust and creates value. And I think the gap between crypto and trade is getting smaller and smaller. And now we're kind of coming together in a big way. This is probably going to be one of the most important things that is talked about at this event. Now I'm talking about Ripple Swell because MoonPay just wrote a post that brought attention to the last Ripple Swell. The 14th of October, right? This was the last Swell show. XRP was worth 54.50 cents plus or minus a few cents. But the price of XRP was about 54 cents when Ripple held their big Swell event in October of last year. The price of XRP has been going up and up. It was as high as $3.50 not long ago. But I think it was a little more than $3.60. No matter what, though, the most important thing to remember is that Swell is a huge event that could have a big effect on XRP. We already know that some very, very important people are connected to this event. Here is a list of some of the names: XTX Markets, BNY, Citi, Fidelity, BlackRock, CME Group, DBS Bank, and Franklin Templeton. When we think about all of these names, these are just a few of the ones that will be there. While we already know that NASDAQ is beginning to move on chain, there will be a lot more guests. The goal is to turn stocks into tokens. They want to give 24/5 trading, which means they need to add blockchain to their technology stack. We know they want to finish this by 2026. We already know that BNY is the main company that holds ROUSD at this time. They told everyone already they use it as their top pin post on X. You know, it's really strange. But Franklin Templeton is already putting a lot of value on the blockchain in the form of Stellar tokens. Citi is happier about digital assets now than they have ever been. It's also crazy coming from a big top bank. I don't think we need to talk about BlackRock at all. Tokenizing has been going on. A lot of people have been talking about tokenization. In this year's investment report, Larry Fink talked a lot about tokenization. Also, Fidelity is really, really bullish on crypto with their ETFs, so they're really locking in on the acceptance of digital assets. The same thing is being done by CME Group. They have plans for XRP. It's already possible to trade ETFs live on their website. A lot of people in the next X markets are also getting digital assets thanks to DBS Bank. I believe they are very clear about how they want to really grow as a digital assets market player. Still, seeing all these famous people linked to this event is very exciting. Also, when we think about November of this year, we can think of ISO 22 implementation. We know that ISO 22 will be the standard that changes things for good. I think it's going to change everything. It's going to change how banks work, right? Because they feel like they have to change their tech stack and use new tools. AI and Bitcoin seem like the two most important things to look into right now. And it's clear that we're talking about safe coins when we talk about cross-border payments and how to make them better. We're also going to talk about tokenization and digital assets. We also know that it's almost the end of November. I'm sure that ISO 22 will be talked about at this event, Ripple Swell. I'm sure cross-border payments will make a big impact. In fact, I think they'll be talked about a lot at Ripple Swell, since Ripple has been a big supporter of those payments and has been changing up the industry for a long time. But I believe this is completely in line with how ISO 22 is being used. I mean, you should look at November 22nd. This is the end of living together. Starting on November 22nd, both MT and ISO22 messages will no longer be accepted for cross-border payments. This means that financial companies will have to use ISO22 after this. This means that all of those big players will have to use ISO22 as the standard format for core payment messages. And this will also cause people to use new tools, which is something we've talked about a lot before. I'm sure this will make a big splash at Ripple Swell. I'm sure that stable coins will also be talked about in terms of payments across borders. In a way, I'm really looking forward to everything because it seems like the dates of these big events are coming together. Yep, I'm also very interested in what will happen in November. Besides that, we did get the big news, right? We got the big news that the case between Ripple and the SEC is finally over. And Cointelegraph, which usually says bad things about Ripple and XRP, was the first to report it. We understand. The lawsuit between Ripple and the SEC was finally over on August 7th when both sides dropped their appeals. This means that XRP is no longer considered a security when it is offered on public exchanges. Anderson did draw attention to this.